What will the midterms look like? I think they're going to look really good for Republicans, and the truth of the matter is it's going to be a referendum on Biden policies more than everybody turning into a Republican. So I think we'll do well, but we don't need to overread the mandate. I think inflation, crime, a broken border are going to take their toll on Democratic incumbents. I think we'll take the House pretty easily, and I'm increasingly optimistic about the Senate. I'm going all over the country campaigning for the candidates in the states that will matter.
Absolutely. As we near 2024, are you looking at the field and seeing any strong contenders for a Republican nominee for president?
Well, I think if Trump runs, he'd be the leading candidate. Most Republicans felt like he was a good president on things that mattered. He can be a handful for sure. But, if you want a strong military, we had it. We had a secure border. We had great Supreme Court justices, federal judges. I was part of that. Conservative judiciary. We cut our taxes, and he had the cops back. So I think he's got a good story to tell about when he was president, but he's going to have to figure out if he wants to do it again. I think he probably does. If he doesn't do it, we have a really strong bench. We got a lot of up-and-coming governors. We got, Tim Scott, you got Nikki Haley here at home. You got Governor DeSantis, Mike Pompeo. We got a lot of people, the governor from Virginia. So the bench for the Republican Party is pretty strong.
Absolutely. I asked Jeff Duncan about this at his Faith and Freedom barbecue, but can you talk to me a little bit about your takeaways from the ongoing federal investigation into Trump and the raid on Mar-a-Lago?
I think people are sort of suspicious after Crossfire Hurricane, where we're all told that Trump was a Russian agent. It turned out to be a complete flop, and out of control FBI agents and DOJ officials. I think there's a lot of skepticism. Nobody's above the law, that's for sure, but the law needs to be above politics, and I think the average Republican believes when it comes to Trump, they've been trying to get him since day one, and there's a lot of skepticism. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. The Fed this morning, or yesterday morning, was saying they're likely to continue raising rates, sparking concerns about deepening recessionary conditions. Do you see any alternative to what the Fed's doing?
Well, raising rates is sort of the traditional antidote to high inflation, but food prices are going to keep going up. Ukraine is out of production this year, and 40% of all the, corn and wheat to the developing world comes out of the Ukraine. So I see food prices staying high. Energy prices are going to be high as long as we stop producing oil and gas that we own here. The Biden administration's basically shut down domestic production, and I think we're into a recessionary time coming up, and you got to change your policies. We got a broken border; it's not going to fix itself, and energy independence we've lost because of bad policy choices.
Absolutely. Following the Dobbs decision, I think a lot of GOP leaders turned to the states for having the final say in abortion decisions. What would you?
I think that makes.
Well, what would you say to critics of your recent bill and the federal level regulation here?
It's a human rights issue to me, not a states' rights issue. I don't mind the states having a say about how to regulate abortion up to a point in time. The pro-life movement's not about geography. It's not about an election cycle. It's about the baby. And so what I think, as a nation, we need to set policies nationally, a minimum national standard, to make sure that we're in a civilized world. 47 of 50 European countries ban abortion at 14 weeks or below. My bill is 15 weeks, with exceptions for rape, incest, life of the mother. About 65 to 70% of the public wants to put restrictions on abortion at that period in time. We're almost to the 4th month. The baby can feel pain at 15 weeks. You provide anesthesia to save the baby's life when you operate on it. So we know it feels pain, and I just think that's the time to draw the line. And to me, it's a human right issue. Whether you're in California or wherever you are at 15 weeks, you can feel pain, and I like to protect you from what I think would be a pretty horrible demise.
Absolutely. Well, to make personal that issue, if a relative of yours was in the position where they became pregnant at a very early age and didn't realize or didn't come out until after 15 weeks, what would you say to them?
Well,
how would you kind of communicate with them about this?
All of Europe, 47 or 50 countries in Europe, draw a line at 14 weeks. 15 weeks, I think, is in line with the civilized world. And you're balancing interest here like you have to do a lot of times, the individual woman and the baby itself. And I feel comfortable that my bill puts us with civilized nations. There's 7 nations on the planet that allow abortion on demand up to the moment of birth, and China and North Korea, the 2 of the 7. And I don't want any part of the United States to be like that. So what I've proposed is a national minimum standard. States can do more restrictive measures, but at 15 weeks, we're going to draw a line. That's what I think.